No, there won't be a challenge. I understand that. Again, if your argument is still revolving on the fact that you suspect that we are banning, then we'll get into this conundrum.
But you're restricted.
But if you see, that's what I'm saying here.
So in other words, in a more realistic question would be, on day one of this, you would have to restrict the importation of rice, say, for example.
Day one of this, I may not.
And allow 622,000 metric tons to be produced locally.
No.
And so you can't import anything more than that difference. That's what you're proposing.
That is the difference.
That's what you're proposing.
But I was going to put it the other way around. Maybe we would have arrived at the same destination. But I was going to say that maybe, as you say, day one, which is from today or from the maturity of the LI, we won't be restricting anything at all if it's to.
The law says within 3 months people can apply to you.
No, they apply. Of course, yes. The physical application would be undertaken. But whether by so doing we stop bringing in anything altogether is another matter. Yes, they would apply for the purpose of getting a 20 million metric tons, 40 million metric tons. I would have looked at the figures. The committee would have looked at the figures. They would have presented me with the data. And looking at it, I would have thought that, well, how much is needed? 100 and whatever tons, yes, it can be imported. Nothing would have been lost.
Yeah, but that is rice where the data is available.
We're keeping a good eye on the data. Let me tell you about this. We have been particularly concerned about rice because it's all basically the staple of the country. So we got companies like the guys that you met here just before you came in, Olam. They had come to explain to me the installed capacity. Consistently over the last so many months, we've been talking to Zoom Lion, you know them, just one group of companies. In fact, they had promised us that if we had been able to put through the mechanism into operation, by this December, they will be producing so much to augment whatever it's already produced in the country. So imports could be to be restricted. But of course, we had to do a roadshow for purpose of consultation to get all those stakeholders involved for us to measure the barometer of the country before we undertake this process.
So I was talking about the other items on the list.
Yes.
You have stuff like fish.
Well, start from the top.
Well, I mean, we've talked about rice. We've talked about rice already.
A few more there.
You have poultry, for example.
Yes.
And if you speak to the Poultry Farmers Association, they say we don't even produce up to 1% of what the demand locally.
That's not my information. They don't tell me that they don't produce 1%.
I mean,
it is true. The local production
according to the recommendation, let me quote the exact figures. So 400,000 metric tons is the demand locally.
That's right.
We are currently producing locally 57,000. To be very specific, 57,870. Metric tons of poultry.
Yes.
That's a huge gap. You're talking about a significant gap. In fact, what we import still leaves a gap. We're not importing all that we need for the local market already.
Well, we're not importing all. We're assuming that we produce something.
So my point is, how does your policy address this huge gap without creating a shortage that shoots price up and creates inflation?
Well, at the risk of repeating myself, let me take you back. And that's what consistently I'm saying, that we are not banning. So in the particular instance of poultry, we may simply have to regulate, observe, evaluate what's going on, and then decide on how we go forward. It's the case that if we were importing, say, 1,000 metric million, whatever, of poultry, we probably would keep on producing to the extent that we are not bridging the gap. But if the system that we put in place, the help that we intend to give to the poultry farmers, and all the mechanisms that we put in place, if it is able to catch up, we hope that going forward, we'll be able to bridge the gap, and that the import into the country will be reduced. Looking at it, if having put all the factors together, there's still the risk that putting restricting in the terms of not allowing anybody to bring poultry into the country would affect the country. We won't.